Let him laugh, let him weep, let him yell, let him sing. All they wanna say. Let him live in silence, let him praise Jehovah, me I pray. Let him laugh, let him weep, let him yell, let him sing. All they wanna say. Let him live in silence, let him praise Jehovah, me I pray. The right to me instead of playing games. For she's fame, let somebody set the lack of flames. Living my life to the fullest. Shout out my halala to the fullest. Let my lungs out. This rising up to greater heights as long as.
Hello, Bonjour and Bonani. Welcome to Rise to Greater Heights Network, where you can turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. It is so significant to have a positive mindset, more especially under these circumstances. So this network has the potential to completely revolutionize every aspect of your life and career. My name is Dr. Riel Nkunene, and I'm going to be your host for today. So if you're watching us online, please feel free to put in the chat box where you're watching us from and what you hope to achieve from our podcast. Today, we are surrounded by greatness in the World Wide Web. We have amazing speakers who's going to share some nuggets on resilience to greatness. Resilience to greatness. So in England, we have Adriana Mendes Snowden. And in Regina, we have Kim Coven. So at this moment, I'm just going to let our speakers to introduce themselves. So you can go ahead, Adriana.
Hello, Dr. Riel and Kim. It's an honor to be sharing this space with you, and I'm very excited to be here. Thank you.
Wow, it's such an honor to have you, Adriana, and I am really looking forward to hear more of your message. And thank you for saying yes and be with us here.
Thank you.
You can go ahead, Kim, and please introduce yourself.
Dr. Riel and Adriana, it is a great pleasure to be here and to be speaking about resilience. It's a much needed, right? It's something we do every day, and we often don't see it. So it's wonderful to be here with both of you.
Wow, it's an honor and a privilege to have you. And you know what? I believe we're going to learn a lot from you. And thank you for being with us here, Kim. I'm looking forward to hear more of your message. So Adriana, I have a question for you. If you happen to have your own billboard, I really don't know where your billboard is going to be. Is it going to be in Mexico? Is it going to be in the UK? What will your billboard say?
My billboard will say, everything is possible.
Wow. Everything is possible. You know what? You can achieve anything as if you put your mindset in it, because everything is possible. I love that. I believe like everything, there is no limit in everything because everything is possible. Wow, I love it. How about you, Kim? Maybe your billboard is already down there in the busy highway in Regina. What would your billboard say?
My billboard would say, it's time to stop walking on eggshells and thrive.
It's time to stop walking on eggshells and strive.
And thrive, yeah.
For this, we are called for this, like thrive in everything that you do, because you know what, everything is possible. I love all the billboards, by the way. So I believe my billboard will be the third billboard driving down the highway, and it's gonna say what? The sky is no longer the limit, but now the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. And it's definitely coming. So we're gonna get started. Where we have Adriana Mendes Snowden. She's the founder and the mentor of the Miracle Mindset Academy, which is a methodology for consciousness development and spiritual growth. She's also an international speaker and an author of several books, including a guide to building resilience titled Happiness Through Resilience. This topic has positioned her in the world of personal development. So Adriana's mission is to raise a women's consciousness so they can transcend their status as victims or warriors and transform into miracle women. She imparts her methodology through online seminars, courses, memberships, books, presentations, transformational retreats internationally, and individual mentoring with the Miracle Mindset Academy. So Adriana is committed to her purpose through her development and preparation. And because she has overcome strict tests throughout her life, for her, success is living a whole and happy life, achieving conscious harmony with the universe. Born in Puerto Vallarta in Mexico, where she lived most of her life, she recently moved to England with her husband and young son. This change, although complex, has driven and motivated her even more to follow her dreams. She has served international institutions such as the Global Institute of Professionals and Lowani Global. Adriana is an activist in favor of ending the stigma associated with substance use disorder, sexual abuse, and neurodiversity, as she firmly believes that shedding light on these issues, it can help people who still suffer, allowing them to talk about these issues without fear of being judged. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Adriana.
Oof, thank you very much. Sometimes when I hear my bio read, I'm like, oh wow. I get amazed because there was a time in my life where I could never dream of any of that, you know? And when we talk about resilience, a lot of people have asked me this in conferences and seminars, if someone is born with it or is something that you can build. And to me, resilience, it's another form of emotional intelligence. It's also a muscle that anybody can strengthen with the right tools and the right mindset, as we're going to be talking a lot about mindset. And somebody that has emigrated from their country, that has gone through childhood trauma, that has led to years of alcoholism, abuse, and other issues, I thought I was resilient. However, I realized I was merely surviving. And I was just surviving because I was still here and I didn't know what was my purpose was, but I was alive. I had survived death, suicidal attempts, and car accidents, and many other things, but I was still here. But I wasn't happy. Even when I start my recovery journey, I stopped putting myself in danger situations, but that didn't feel like I was resilient. However, you have to start somewhere, right? And when I wrote this 10 steps, this guide to build your resilience, the first step I have my own experience had taught me was to ask for help. It's so hard for a lot of us to ask for help. Sometimes it's offer and we don't know how to take it because sometimes we're in a frame of mind so vulnerable and we don't know how to receive help. Well, that's the first thing I did, and I got it from everywhere. God, the universe, my family, my support network, which takes me to number 2, which is have a support network. We can all have one. It doesn't matter that if we live alone, if we don't have a partner, we can always create this support network. Even at that time, my own recovery group became that support network I needed at the time. So there are a lot of resources available to get help. Now, I'm not only talking about somebody that might have been suffering from substance abuse, because this applies for anything. Even just watching podcasts like this and getting to self-development courses or books, or there is a ton of stuff that we can get access for free on the internet as well. I'm not going through all of the 10 steps, but one of the things that definitely helped me in taking me from surviving to thriving and find inner peace, something that I never experienced as a child or a teenager until I start waking up. And when I talk about waking up, I'm talking about unlearn all of these things, all these limiting beliefs, all of these blocks that I grew up with about myself, about the worldviews I had, about everything I knew. And I needed to create a new mind condition that felt good, that it came from love and not from fear. Because I realized everything I've done was fear-based, and I didn't want to live there anymore. So when we talk about a mindset, we are talking about a consciousness state, right? And I have to explain what is a miracle mindset, or what is to be a miracle woman, because when you were reading the part of not to be a victim, not to be a warrior, I have to clarify. I know a lot of women and men out there, they identify themselves as warriors. And I also understand, because I stayed there for a while. It is a mindset or a consciousness level that is necessary on our journey. Is what we needed at the time. It's when we after being a victim myself for many years, one thing is, yes, I was a victim, but then as an adult, I can heal, I can be responsible, I can do the necessary work. So I'm no longer there. I don't park myself and camp in that statement for my whole life. There is nothing more that's empowering to believe that I can't take care of my own life and I cannot create a new reality for me. So from that state, I graduate myself. That's why I call it the Miracle Mindset Academy, to the warrior, right? I was this fighter, and I have to attach this because a lot of the times we believe that resilience is someone that is fighting all the time. It's a warrior, and it could be, but resilience, they say that the meaning is somebody that overcomes and comes back stronger than before. But I didn't want to stay too long in this warrior fighter consciousness level. Yes, what it kept me there, and it was helpful at the time, it was because I started to take therapy, going to seminars, start acquiring tools, getting my self-esteem better, getting recover. I was empowered, and I felt that I could do it all. I was, like we say in Mexico, Juan Camaney. Come on, universe, get me whatever bottles you want, because I can do it. I have my sword and I can do it. I'm this warrior, right? And that was fine. And I overcame a lot of stuff. That's good. I was resilient. However, a lot of energy went into that, and I was exhausted. I didn't want to fight any more battle. I didn't want to need to be that resilient, because to me, resilience and being strong are not the same thing. Although I know there is a perception that could be the same thing, but sometimes we're stronger when we can show through vulnerability that would allow us to navigate through all of the challenge, whatever they are, by flowing with life. And then also, a lot of people that know or is familiar with the law of attraction, or simply with the laws of lives and the universe or God, the more I'm saying I can do this, the more I'm gonna get more of that, just to prove how strong I am, what a good warrior I am. So for me, the time came to graduate to a different consciousness level, which I call it the miracle mindset. It's nothing more than a flow mindset. Because I discovered through my own life experience that flowing is the art of life. And for that, there is two tools that combine, it creates miracles. That is acceptance, profound acceptance of what is, not what we want life to be, but what we have, what it is right now. I started to discovering that when I surrender to what life was presenting to me, that's when I started to even overcome more and more, but without being tired, because I wasn't spending my energy in fighting, but my energy was being used in finding solutions, in finding and having the wisdom and the things that I could change. And I know there is very very popular or known prayer, the Serenity Prayer, but it has so much wisdom right in it. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. That is pure gold. When you analyze each of the sentence, accept the things I cannot change. Why? If I can't change them, why am I gonna fight against the wall over and over and end up exhausted? Now, courage to change the things I can. There are a lot of things that I can, and that's mainly me. When I change, when I work in my thoughts, for my feelings, my emotions will come from my thoughts and my beliefs, and then that is gonna impact in my behaviors. That's gonna impact in my resilience, of course, because I'm gonna be able to flow with life's events, knowing that these are not problems, these are lessons. And when you understand that everything that you go through, it's perfect and necessary, because that is God or the universe perfect order. So instead of wishing, trying to not go through that, then you can surrender, you can accept it, but then you focus and create the reality you want that you can. I cannot change what's happening outside in the world, the government, the weather, other people. I'm no one to judge. All I can do is to create that inner work for me. And from that point forward, maybe I can become a miracle for other people. Maybe I can fulfill the mission that I know I have. I have always known since I was a little girl. I had a mission. I didn't know what it was, but I didn't know that every time I have a experience, a near-death experience, and I was alive, I'm like, I know I have many angels that are looking after me. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna discover it. And not because you elevate your consciousness and you have faith and you do all these things that you're supposed to do, that doesn't mean you're not going to get any more challenges, you're not going to get any more lessons, because while we're still here on earth in this spiritual academy, we have a lot to learn. It doesn't mean that none of this will happen anymore, but it does mean that with the resilience and the tools that you have, you get better at it. And when I mean better is we just learn to flow with it. So that's how, in essence, you're able to feel that inner peace. And as I said on my bio, for me, success is enjoy inner peace, is enjoy harmonious, loving relationships. It's to feel happiness, and happiness not as that carrot that we all have to chase, but happiness is also a state of mind. It's also a choice that we can make every single day, no matter what is happening around you. So if you notice, all of what I'm talking about is mindset work. And there are many, many ways that you can go from whatever limited mindset you have now into the next, and take your time. We all have our own time. Everything, it's perfect. I always thought, but why didn't I recover from alcoholism before? Why am I facing? Because it's just perfect, because that is how it was my time. And there are many ways, and I'm sure the other speakers will share as well how have works for them and their own tools. I don't know how long do I have, Dr. Ria? Because I could talk forever, but I'm
Yes,
pretty
yeah.
much there. Well,
You have
and
like 2 more minutes, you can wrap up.
I'm gonna wrap up now. And the last thing I want to recommend to whoever is listening is go onto a self-knowledge journey, becoming an expert in yourself, developing self-awareness, but not only self, but awareness in general. It's going to help you manage, because then you'll know what can motivate you, what are triggers, what doesn't help you, what does. So you are the best investment, the best decision, the best thing you're ever going to do for yourself. So I'm going to leave you with that. And thank you very much for listening to me. Once again, thanks for this invitation. Thank you very much.
Wow, Adriana, I'm like, just drop the mic. Like all the nuggets that you've shared, really, anyone listening under your voice can just bounce back to life. I love the way you've mentioned that success is living a whole and happy life, achieving conscious harmony with the universe. And you've mentioned that, in order for you to bounce back to life, in order for you to be resilient in life, you'll have to ask for help. Ask for help where help is needed. Really reaching out to that support system that you have, it can help you to bounce back to life. And I like the way you differentiated resilience and being stronger. You've mentioned that resilience, it doesn't mean that you are stronger. It doesn't mean the same thing. But at some point in life, you'll have to be vulnerable in order for you to see your strength. And you've also shared the serenity prayer. God, just grant me the wisdom to accept things I can't change. Whatsoever you can't change in life, just accept it. You know what? Just go with the flow. And whatsoever situation that is happening in your life, it doesn't mean to kill you, but it's meant to keep you. It meant to help you to boost your resilience. Wow, wow. Thank you so much, Ariana, for sharing such a profound, much needed message. Really, I'll just go back and watch the replay over and over again, because I just want to hear this over and over again. Thank you so much, Adriana. Thank you. So now we're coming back to Canada from England, where we have Kim Coven. Kim Coven is a retired lawyer and an adjuster, which is the judge of landlord and tenant disputes. She's a mom, divorcee, and a mediator who supports families in conflict. Unlike anyone else in this industry, Kim doesn't approach divorce as a legal issue. Instead, Kim helps parents to stop walking on eggshells so they and their children can thrive during and beyond divorce. So this is true even in challenging circumstances, such as coercive control, narcissism, and mental health issues. Kim lives in Regina, Canada, with her second husband, one of her adult children from her first marriage, and rescue crayons and cats. Wow. Wow. Kim is the third generation of her family to steward 160 acres of prairie. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Kim.
Thank you, Dr. Rial, for that very kind introduction. And it's I want to start with a question, and I'm going to ask you and Adriana if you can answer. What do you see in this mug? What do you notice?
Wow. Why do I see? But I see the brown color for sure. I see it. Wow.
What do you notice, Adriana?
Is it people?
I see like the tree, how do you call like the log of the tree? How do you say it in English?
The branch or the
Not the branch, what supports the tree.
yeah, and
Can't-
I can't come up with. I know what you mean. Like it's the trunk.
Mhm.
Yes, the trunk. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I see. I don't know.
So
I don't know
this
what Dr.
mug,
Riallen says.
this mug, when I was growing up, I focused on like this mug has
Cracks.
a chip,
Uh-huh.
right? It's very, very beautiful pottery by a well-known ceramic artist named Mel Bolan, who I think is pretty much retired now. But growing up, to feel love, I had to be perfect in the areas I was supposed to be perfect in. And that's how I knew I was loved. But what I would tend to focus on is, of course, the things that make us really interesting and human. The breaks. So yes, 3 university degrees over the years, lots of travel. I lived my life from age 18 to 26, basically as if asking myself the question, if I was to find out I had 6 months left to live, what regrets would I have? So I ended up doing all kinds of different experiences and travel and got myself into some sticky situations sometimes. But it was all from this place of perfection, from being in my head. And it also led me, I went to Puerto Vallarta once on my own. I'd been there before, but I went on my own and went to a timeshare demonstration. And because I couldn't say no, I was, because part of being perfect is you're a people pleaser for everyone else. So I said yes to a timeshare that I didn't want and paid a deposit and felt using my parents' credit card. But I felt such shame. And instead of facing my shame, I went to law school because I never wanted to be taken like that again. And likewise, me seeing myself as the little gap. When my then boyfriend proposed to me, my whole body was screaming, say no, say no. And I'm thinking, it's an 8-hour drive home. That's going to be super awkward. And he's going to cry. I don't know how to cope if he cries. So, it was like, well, how bad could this be? And I said yes, when I knew, right, when my instincts were telling me, say no. So this was the reality of who I was for many, many years, pleasing everyone else except me. There was very little truth in who I was. And I knew, and I mean, my husband was a nice man, but we were not well suited. And did he have anger issues? Yes, he did. And it was, and my work was challenging and it was like everything was falling apart. And I had an elderly neighbor who I would confide in. And I remember one time I took her to the doctor and I said to her, yeah, I've thought about this whole relationship thing and I've come up with the perfect outcome. And she's like, oh, yes. And I said, well, I think, if he could just be hit by a semi-trailer when he's riding his bike, that would be the best. Because we have life insurance. And Adriana, I see your eyes. Yeah, like how black is that? And she looked at me and she said, oh. And I looked back at her and said, is that bad? And she nodded her head, yes. Because of course, when you're in a really dark place, you don't even see how skewed your vision of reality is. But that loving, just, there was no shame. It was just like, oh yeah, that's bad, Kim. Without any attempt to help. It was just listening, bearing witness to where I was, shining some light on that I did start thinking, oh, this is really crazy. If she thinks it's crazy, it is really, really crazy. So it ended up, I did keep thinking, reflecting on what's happening in my relationship. What am I going to do? Am I going to stay? Am I going to go? And I had practiced family law by that time. And I had had clients who they had to hire a mediator to help them divide spices. So I knew, like most people have a sense of the taboo that is divorce, the great stigma, but I actually knew a lot more about it and was completely terrified. And at about the same time, ironically, I went back to judo because my former coach, we'd both moved to Regina, and I'd run into him and he told me he was thinking about starting a club. And I said, oh, do you need any help? And he said, oh, just at the beginning, middle, and end of every practice, Kim. And as a teenager, I'd been very competitive in judo and I placed third in the nationals for my age category. That was when I was 15. So I was nasty. I was a strong competitor. But part of this focusing back on here, I lost every fight the year I moved up to seniors. And I thought, well, that meant I wasn't any good at judo anymore. So I stayed away for 25 years. And when I went back, it just brought such joy. And because I wasn't competing with old Kim, it was Kim as a coach, Sensei Kim. And so this was going on too. So when the event came that I realized this is too crazy, I can't stay in my marriage. With that foundation of joy, helped me make the decision that, okay, I had to end it. And I knew, and I knew from my professional experience, the hell that would result if I approached it the traditional way. So I actually thought through, okay, what are my best memories? When was the last time we laughed together? In terms of the span of our relationship, how much time was really happy? How much time was so-so? How much time was really bad to help me solidify? Okay. And thinking about, and so I crafted a message to tell him that wasn't based on saying, this is horrible, you're a horrible person. And that's what happens in the legal documents, is how the respondent feels. But I shared with him one of my best memories of our time together. And that was before we'd had kids. And I was like, and that was a long time ago. And we haven't had any really good memories for just the two of us since, however many years. And I said, and our children deserve more from us. They deserve parents who can be happy, who can show up without anger. They deserve to not live in this constant tension. So I made it about the children, and not about the children as pawns or as possessions, but about as human beings. Because I had learned in a child protection file that children love their parents no matter what. And I'd actually set a goal that I wanted my kids to have the best relationship possible with their father. And I figured if he got help, it would take about 5 years. And it would have been very easy for me with my background to go, oh, he shouldn't have any contact with him, right? Because that's often when you're looking at divorce and you tend to think there's something wrong with the other person, and it's from that place of pain and fear. And this notion that conflict, that we're binary beings, you're either with me or you're against me, without recognizing that middle ground. Okay. So it was, no, we both have to be present for our children. And out of that place of love, like, and you might think, oh yeah, it was easy for you, Kim. Not at all. My husband did not want to get divorced, like for religious reasons. Lots of shame there around divorce. My family really was not supportive of me doing it. They talked a good talk, but when it actually happened, there was a lot of distance. So it was a really, really challenging time. And one of the things that had happened during our marriage was I got a letter from the College of Law saying, come and do your master's. We're going to be short profs. You have a really great conceptual brain. Please come do your master's. You can end up as a professor. And my son was a baby when I got that letter. And I remember asking a good friend of mine who had clerked at the Court of Appeal if she, assuming she got a letter too. No, she never got that letter. But I did. And my husband was like, no, Kim, we are settled here. Really, like we've got a kid. And I went along with it, the people pleasing. But after I'd asked him to move out, that bubbled up, that dream bubbled up about, I want to do my master's. And meanwhile, the divorce is going on in the background, and he would come here to parent the kids. So, because it was in the kids' safe place. So it was way more organic. So, and he wouldn't pay child support. He paid the mortgage and stuff. I had that all figured out. But so he didn't feel rejected. And I had no idea what I was doing. It was just based on my kids having the best relationship possible with their dad. And going to do my master's, I had no idea how I'd pay for it. I rented the house out a week before we left. And I remember being in tears because it was taking me an hour to read 6 pages of legal theory and just wanting to come home. And if my house hadn't been rented out, I would have quit. But then I remembered my grandma, who in her mid-50s, no, she was about 50. She had been older than me. She went and finished her degree. And I thought, oh, if she can do it, I can do it. And it was just be kind to yourself, Kim. And that's kind of the foundation of how I got here to the work I'm doing now. And I left the practice of law because what I've discovered is it's children who matter, and it's conflict and tension in the homes. That's what harms kids. And there's been this remarkable, like, it's just when I see the changes in my kids from when we lived with their dad, it is just so life affirming. So the message is, if you're a people pleaser, if you're in a relationship that you know in your heart isn't working, divorce is okay. You don't have to divorce like everybody else. You follow what you know is best out of love for your children. And recognize you have a lot of innate wisdom And if you happen to need somebody to help you with that realization, I am here, either me personally, or I have a little group program that I run to. And the best way to reach me is actually at the website, theconflictqueen.ca. And there's a flow chart on there that's a freebie if you sign up for my list at theconflictqueen.ca that describes how to divorce peacefully, the steps I used. So thank you.
Wow, Kim. Oh my goodness, what a profound, much needed message. Thank you for sharing your story that will help us to build resilience in all avenues of our life, because it's not all about, divorce. You've mentioned like how you can actually commit to your own children before engaging the legal system. And because the children, they need both parents. It doesn't matter what's happening between both parents, but their children, they just want to see their parents. They just want to see their parents happy. They just want to see their parents loving them. And you also mentioned how to actually approach the separation as a life event instead of as a legal issue. And you've kind of guided us through your own life experience. I love the way you almost ended that. You know what? Just be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself and choose to show up differently in life. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kim, for sharing your message. Thank you so much for sharing your own experience to heal the world with your own very own humanity. Thank you, Kim. Thank you. Wow, let me just check our audience online. I believe really our audience online have been inspired. I can see Elsa Clay, she's saying that you are amazing, Adriana. And Mariah Cox is saying that you'll have to build your own resilience. I can see Jenny Marichelle, she's saying that amen to that, true to that. And I can see Jarvis Bestman, he's saying our ability to be positive and accept life and become who we are. Princess Sebe is saying that accept things that you can't change. That's the serenity prayer. And I can see Jenny is saying that using our strength on building your universe, what you want, then trying to fix what you can't fix. And I can see Annalie watching, and she's giving us all the love. And Benoit Susie is also giving us all the fire that we need on this platform. And Olive and Shom, he's supposed to be on this platform. I don't know. He's saying this is deep. This is deep. And Jarvis, oh my goodness, like it's a lot of comments. Jarvis Bestman is saying sometimes we have to make decisions before God can actively help us. Wow. And like our audience, I believe, like from all of your messages, our audience have been inspired. They've been motivated, really. So to our audience online, if you happen to have any questions to Kim, to Adriana, please feel free to drop your questions on the chat box, and then we're gonna attend to your questions at the end of the podcast. So it's not gonna be a show without me showing up and showing off. So before I speak, let me just share my bio here, and then I'll come back and speak. Please do enjoy. I want you, as you think about your dreams and goals, to put this down. Rise to greater heights. Rise to greater heights, because you need to be clear about your career goals in order for you to gain guidance on professional development. Really, my goal as a mentor or as a coach is so simple. My goal is to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs and other potential obstacles that you might be facing, and then design a plan of inspired action to empower you to pursue success and drive sustainable. I think whosoever said that the sky is the limit was wrong. From today on, I, Dr. Riel and Kunene, believe that the sky is our point of view. Mom. So I think whosoever said that the sky is the limit was wrong. From today on, I, Dr. Rial and Kunene, believe that the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Rise to greater heights.
Dr. Nampumelelo Rial Kunene is an international human rights policy analyst who consults on policies and procedures related to human rights compliance. She is a highly sought-after, energetic, certified Lace Brown international speaker. This passionate leader holds a PhD with a discipline in leadership and business. Dr. Rial N. Kunene is the author and host to Rise to Greater Heights, a book and YouTube channel to turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. She is also a coach, mentor, and an MC, well known for encouraging many to rise from mediocrity into greatness. Her vision is not only to motivate, but also to empower audiences with a fresh perspective inspiration they require to pursue success and drive sustainable outcomes. In a seriously funny way, Dr. Kunene is an award-winning author, 10 times #1 Amazon and international best-selling author. Her #1 best-selling book, Rise to Greater Heights, has inspired and empowered many to pursue their personal and professional passion to become go-getters. As a trainer, diplomacy protocol officer, and strategist, Rial believes that we are in full control of our choices. Her mission is to meet the needs and transform lives of her clients and her audience. She is also a true advocate for creating new policies that uphold human rights and prevent human rights violations. Dr. Kunene's purpose is to teach everyone about human rights and help organizations understand and promote human rights. Her goal is to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs, then design a plan of inspired action to empower you to achieve specific outcomes in your life. This change maker, trailblazer, and revolutionary is pushing boundaries and creating a real change worldwide. Like a phoenix that never accepted defeat and rose from its own ashes, she wants to challenge you to unleash your greatness and rise to greater heights. Dr. Rial N. Kunene wears many hats. As a professional certified sales manager, CEO, certified travel counselor, publisher, medical esthetician, philanthropist, and a commissioner for oaths, following her dreams gave her purpose to see her goals through and understand that she does have everything she needs to reach her full potential. Her everyday message is that your journey to be a better person starts with you. So knowing who you are to your core will make you understand that you are the only one who can accomplish your dreams. Hebrews 11, Psalms 27 and 40 keeps her to rise to greater heights. The sky is no longer the limit, but now the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Kings and queens, please join me. Welcome, Dr. Rial N. Kunene.
Wow, thank you so much, Amazing, because really you've set the bar high for me. So I'm like, you've shared all the nuggets really that can actually boost you to bounce back to life. Adriana on the other side, she was like, in order for you to bounce back to life, you'll have to ask for help where help is needed. And then Kim, she mentioned, you know what, you'll have to choose to show up differently. You'll have to be kind to yourself, because you know what, kindness, it changes everything. Kindness, it changes everything about your life, about your surroundings. So I'm just going to ask you, what comes into your mind when you hear the word resilience? Resilience, to me, resilience, it means bouncing back to life, because I've seen the approach to adversity, it play out in all walks of life, and realize that, you know what, resilience is truly the signature of greatness. You know, every leader, every great leader with their own souls, really, they were once resilient in life, because their stories of struggles often becomes lesson on how to stay strong as an individual. Like Oprah Winfrey, she once said that, you know, you'll have to turn your wounds into wisdom, turn your wounds into wisdom. So these great leaders believed in a cause that is bigger than themselves, and they were very persistent in order to achieve their goals. So they defined themselves by the impacts and difficult challenges, but they've been able to overcome them all. Kings and queens, you really don't have to see the whole staircase in life to get to the top, but you need to take the first step to get to the top. As my mentor always say, that you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to become great in life. So get started today and bounce back to life. You know, when you speak of entrepreneurship is a journey full of learnings and many bumps along the way, but finding our cause is the main aim of life, with a healthy dose of resilience. There is something, there is something admirable about people who keep going, no matter what obstacles that they face. They have resilience to succeed, which is the fuel, which will fuel you to get through the hard days in life. This will fuel you to get ahead in everything that you are doing. Just be resilient. So it's a wake-up call, kings and queens. It's a wake-up call. But when that alarm clock goes off, please don't ever hit the snooze button. Don't be like, I will wake up in the next 2 minutes. I will wake up in the next 4 minutes. You know what? Forever is a long time. Why don't you wake up, get going, and bounce back to life? Bounce back to life. So I'm going to share like 5 key ways in order for you to focus on to develop a greater level of resilience. So if you can please write it down. Point number 1, you have to learn from the discomfort. Learn from the discomfort. So when you're going through tough times, it is easy like to lose your own cool. But I believe that we need to learn the most from the discomfort. So you'll have to learn from the discomfort. Point number 2, you'll have to be willing to create resilience. Be willing to create resilience. And you may ask me how. I'm glad you've asked that, because most of our challenges will cause us to grow in some way. It can cause us to grow in some way. So learning to deal with and address adversity is what creates resilience. You'll have to create that resilience. And point number 3, you'll have to stay committed to what matters the most. Stay committed to what matters the most. You know, our struggles, it can often put things in better perspective, and overcoming such adversity is a character building. So just do that and you will definitely see the difference. And then point number 4, you'll have to build external resources. Build external resources. I know adversity, it helps us to find a body at some point in life. So we need people for our emotional and mental support, like Adriana mentioned, that you know what, you'll have to ask for help is needed. And then the last point number 5, you really don't have to accept it. Yes, I didn't say accept it. I say don't accept it. We will never rise higher than the expectations that we have for ourselves if we accept that adversity is inevitable. Adversity actually it's not inevitable. So you don't have to accept it. So use all these five key ways to focus on to developing that greater level of resiliency. But one thing that you'll have to understand is that, you know what, you can't give from an empty cup. You have to fill up your cup first, and then from the overflow, you're going to be able to share with the world. But in order for you to bounce back to life, you'll have to fill up your cup first, because resilience is the very essence of each our greatness, and it is the learning that comes from it that creates the opportunity to grow. It can bring out our best or our very worst, but it's from these places where we grow the most. We'll have to be able to bounce back to life. We'll have to be able to face adversity. From the beginning of time until now, really, people have been grasping for greatness. So in order for us to go from the bottom of the stairs and to the top of the stairs, we need to take that step. We need to take that step to get to the top. Greatness, it comes from, for me, greatness, it comes from depending entirely on God. Because my everyday book, it says that the stone that the builders rejected has become the capstone. It has become the cornerstone. The Lord has done this, and it is marvelous in our own eyes. So God takes the least of men and makes them great. But if we try to become great through our own efforts, we will eventually fail, because like to me, greatness in Jesus's eyes is serving the needs of others. And this is the true path to greatness, by blessing as many lives as you can around you. That's the true path to greatness. As flight attendants always say that, you know what? Put on your oxygen mask first, because if you don't, trust me, when that flight goes down, you will definitely go down. If you try to help your children before you put on that oxygen mask first, when that flight goes down, you will definitely go down with those children, because you were not able to put on that oxygen mask to yourself first. So it's high time we put that oxygen mask first. Bouncing back to life, it requires that oxygen mask first than helping the next person who's sitting next to you. So it's high time, because the reality is your journey to be a better person. It doesn't start with your neighbor. It doesn't start with your children. It doesn't start with your spouse. The reality to be a better person in your life, it starts with you. So knowing who you are to your core, it will make you understand that you have everything around you to reach to your full potential. So put on that oxygen mask first to yourself. It will make you to understand that, you know what, you can achieve anything that you put your mind into. You can achieve anything. So don't ever give up on your heart's desires. You know, just recall this just in case you can find a way, that you can have the drive within you to become what you really want in life. You know, I am a firm believer of affirmation. So we're going to affirm this together. We're going to affirm this together by, as if we're taking an oath, by placing your left hand on your chest, and you're going to raise your right hand. You're going to place your left hand on your chest and raise your right hand. And we're going to affirm this together, that I can have the drive within me to become what I really want in life. Can you say it one more time, as if you have faith in your own powerful voice? And guess what? It will echo throughout the whole universe. Say, I can have the drive within me to become what I really want in life. Yes, just give yourself a round of applause, because you can have the drive within you to become what you really want to be in life. You can have the drive within you to get where you want to be in the next 6 months. The drive is just inside of you. It's not from the outside. That drive is just inside of you to be the change that you want to see in this world. You know, it's so funny how my mom and dad gave me this beautiful, beautiful name, Nompumelelo. I know many, when they try to say my name, they always butcher my name. Adriana, by the way, you surprised me yesterday when you said my name, the way I just pronounced it. So yeah, many people, they always butcher my name, but my name really, Nompumelelo, in my own language, it means mother of all success. So you can see that I am really, really challenged to chase after success. No matter what comes my way, I'll have to chase after success. So if I may ask you, how many of you have dreams and goals that you want to achieve? Maybe let me say in the next 6 months. I know myself, I am one of those. I want you, as you think about your dreams and goals, to put this down. Rise to greater heights. Rise to greater heights. Because you need to be clear about your career goals in order for you to gain guidance on professional development. So as a coach or as a mentor, like many of us here, my goal is so simple. My goal is to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs and other potential obstacles that you might be facing, and then design a plan of inspired actions to empower you to achieve specific outcomes in your life. You know, I so wish that you can just tell yourself that, you know what, I've had enough. It's high time I bounce back to life. All these amazing speakers have shared more nuggets on how you can build your own resilience. But in order for you to go out there and be the change that you want to see in this world, in order for you to go out there and make a difference, I just want to tell you that you've got to be hungry. You've got to be hungry, like the hungry lion in the jungle. Really, that hungry lion in the jungle, it doesn't matter what kind of animal comes his way. It doesn't matter if you're that giant elephant or that small squirrel by the jungle. All that hungry lion sees in front of his face is lunch. And it's so funny though, because even with elephants, what they do when they see a lion is that they run. It's all about the mindset. Once you believe, you become. They already told themselves that, you know what, I'm a lunch to that lion. So each and every time when I see that lion, I'll have to run. I believe that's the lion mindset that we need in order for us to bounce back to life. Because no one told the lion that, you know what, you are the king of the jungle. It's a mindset thing. He just told himself that, you know what, everywhere I go, I am the king in this jungle. That's the lion mindset that we need in order for us to make a difference and be the change that we want to see. Because I believe that, you know what, we all rise together, and we rise by lifting each other up. We don't rise by tearing anyone down or maybe stepping on another person to get to the top, but we rise by lifting each other up. You know, it's so funny. When I was in the eighth grade, I was nicknamed Phoenix. I'm gonna cut the story short here. I was nicknamed Phoenix after writing a composition using the idiomatic expression that says, "I rose from the ashes like a phoenix bird," of which means I bounced back to life, meaning that I became successful again. Really, that English teacher, she didn't know that the nickname Phoenix, it resonates with me, and it also aligns with my destiny. So for those of you who don't know the phoenix bird, the phoenix is a Greek mythological bird believed to rise from its own ashes after being buried like hundreds of years ago. This immortal creature acquires new life by rising from the ashes of its own ancestor, which represents our capacity for vision and success. I want to encourage you, if you're watching and listening under my voice today, that when your world comes crashing down, wear your scars to show how a phoenix feels like to die from inside, and trust in your own capability to rise from your own ashes, since the phoenix has to die, burn, experience pain before resurrection from its own ashes. Please write this down in conclusion. Resilience to greatness. Resilience to greatness. And I know you've heard this before, that your setback is your setup for your comeback. Your setback is your setup for your comeback. So if I can be honest with you, I don't know what goals you've set for the next 6 months. I don't know what dreams you have for your own future. But here is one thing I know about you. You are destined for greatness. Inside of you, God has put seeds of excellence. Those seeds are supposed to grow and flourish. But many people have become crippled by their past encounters, and some have stepped over other people to get to the top. But I believe that with God, we're all destined for greatness. We're all destined for greatness as long as we follow his strategy, because I believe that your objective is what you are designed for and the reason why you live today. And with God, we're all destined for greatness as long as we follow his strategy. This is when the growth commences, because discovering your gifts and following God's idea, it will make you understand that you have everything around you to reach your full potential. My everyday inspiration, Mr. Les Brown, he once said, if you had to die today, what dreams, what ideas, what visions, what goals, what skills, what talents, and what books will die with you? And the late Dr. Miles Monroe continued saying that the richest place on this planet is the cemetery, because that's where all the goals, all the visions, all the skills, all the talents, and all the ideas have been buried. Honestly, I don't know about you, but with me listening to all these amazing messages, it stirred something within me. And that was when I decided to follow my dreams, which gave me a purpose to see my goals through and understand that I do have everything around me to reach to my full potential. So this year, I am also determined to rise to greater heights with as many motivated individuals as much as I can. Maybe you're that individual who just wanna get started, start and grow and scale your business within 90 days. Yes, it's possible. Or maybe you're that individual who just wanna, you started writing a book and then you were like, you know what, I don't have time for this. You decided to put that book aside and you were like, you know what, the right time will come. I'll get started with my book. But the time, trust me, it will never ever come until you create the time to write that book. So if you're that individual, maybe you just want to publish your #1 best-selling book, and that book, it has to be selling, please. I offer a free, no obligation 30 minutes friendly Zoom consultation call, which will allow me, to find out more about the issues that you're experiencing, and also to find out if you are a perfect fit for any of my programs, because I don't work with just everyone, but I work with those who are going to be a perfect fit for any of my programs. So if you are interested in becoming that public speaker, an author, coach, or maybe you are just that entrepreneur who just want to multiply your income by doing what you truly love, what you're passionate about, and making a real impact out there. So just go out there on my website at www.risetogreaterheights.com and book that free consultation call with me, because I just want to empower you to become a highly effective and inspiring leader with a kind of personalized, measurable, but a scalable program. So go out there on my website at www.risetogreaterheights.com. And yes, everything I do in life or in business, trust me, it comes with a guarantee. If whatsoever reason, maybe any of the program that you sign up for, it doesn't work for you, 100% money back guarantee, because you know what, my ultimate goal is that you feel extremely confident about your purpose. So we will take it one step at a time, and you are definitely going to transform. So if you give me your why, I will show you the how. How cool is that? So this consultation, it offers accountability, education, growth, as well as success. And you might have to ask yourself, why is she doing this? Why now, really? You know what? I've been there, I've done that, and I know how it feels. Like, I remember myself 5 years ago, I was completely lost in the hustle. I was exhausted. I was overwhelmed. I remember I had a ton of ideas, but there was no tried and true strategy to run with my ideas. So it was only when I invested in coaching, and that was when I created my first premium offer. Then things started to change, and then I built an income generating business, just doing what I truly love, what I'm passionate about. So just making a real impact out there with what I'm doing, really. So now it's your turn to build your own world, because you know what? The power is just inside of you. The power is just within you. So go out there and book that free consultation call with me at www.risetogreaterheights.com. Because you know what? Growing up, I didn't have much in life, because my father decided to have an early departure from this planet Earth. And I thank God that I missed that flight, because I'm still here. I'm still sharing my message. I'm still impacting as many lives as much as I can, because I had everything because of my mama's love. And I love you, love you, love you so much, Mom. So I think whosoever said that the sky is the limit was wrong. From today on, I, Dr. Riel Nkunene, believe that the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Thank you so much, amazing speakers. So at this moment, you know what? Feel free to share with the audience how they can reach out to you, how they can work with you. If you happen to have any freebie, please feel free to share with the audience. And also remember to share your final thoughts on resilience to greatness. So Adriana, the stage is yours, Queen. Take it away.
Thank you very much. I will be posting, if that's okay, on the thread of the comments, a link for whoever that wants to get the Happiness Through Resilience ebook for free. I will post the link so they can get it. And as well, part of the mission I shared earlier is now to offer a platform from other women that have turned their pain into miracles through, through the anthologies that we do. Okay, there it is. These anthologies, we're on volume 2 now, and there is a series of resilience and inspiration of other women that they not only overcome, but they have to put this to service to others in one way or another. Because to me, that's one of the important things. It's not only about overcoming, but it's to become a light for the ones that come behind us. So Adriana Mendez Snowden, if you just put that on Google or any social media, that's how I am on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, anywhere like you put Adriana Mendez Snowden, you'll find me. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much, Ariana. I believe like our audience are gonna reach out to you. Happiness, resilience to happiness. They're gonna go out there and grab themselves that copy, because they need this. So if you just need someone who's gonna hold you accountable for your own actions through mentoring, through books, and through speeches, reach out to Adriana. Thank you so much, Adriana. Thank you. You can go ahead, Kim.
It's interesting about resilience in that we develop it in the fire of challenge. And often a challenge that cuts us to our cores is if our marriage isn't working. Because we all expect it's going to be till death do us part, right? Like Dr. Riel, like what happened with your parents. And it's okay. Like, and it's in knowing that divorce doesn't have to harm your children, in accepting that is one of the first steps to resilience. And I think also with resilience, you can, like Adriana talked about, you know, the warrior, and she doesn't identify as that warrior who's fighting anymore. And it's that brittleness when you take that approach to fighting. And there's resistance, and you can get with resilience, with that ability to bounce back, and you can be soft and anchor it in a place of love. And really, that's the approach I take in helping families through conflict. Not everyone I work with gets divorced, but parents end up being able to communicate more effectively. And there's a great deal of vulnerability in that, right? Like just, and the resilience comes from that, I think, that profound connection to love and wanting something better, not wanting to be stuck in that current pattern. So, like, I work as a mediator, but I do my better work as a divorce strategist. And my best work is I have a community for women who are actually experiencing divorce with people who are like, it's super challenging relationships. And they learn resilience from each other. And it's a really, really beautiful, beautiful place. So yes, there's the conflictqueen.ca. There's lots of free resources there. There's also, for a very small fee, the How to Tell Your Husband You Want a Divorce and Keep the Peace book, which was based on what I used with my husband. And it isn't about earning money from it. It's about the people who get it being committed to using it, because that's part of it. Resilience is you've got to believe in yourself that the sky is just a point of view, right?
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for this opportunity. And you mentioned God. What I didn't say at the start of my talk was I didn't have anything scripted. It was like, all right, what am I being called to say today? So thank you.
Wow, wow. Thank you so much, Kim. Really, I believe individuals who are just watching right now, who are experiencing that conflict in their marriages with their own children, they just need someone, you know what, who's going to hold them hand by hand and guide them, kind of guide them through. I missed your website. Is it thelegalqueen.ca? What was their website again?
I actually have two websites, but the conflictqueen.ca.
The conflictqueen.ca. So kings and
Yeah.
queens, please go out there and reach out to Kim before that situation escalates. You just need that someone who will be a mediator between you and the other person who's gonna just, you know what, who's gonna bring that solution to you at a small fee, of course. But she has a lot on her website, the conflictqueen.ca. Go out there and check it out yourself. You may never know, it's going to help you. Like she has mentioned that many families that she has been working with, they ended up not getting divorced, which means whatsoever service that she's offering is really working. Thank you so much, Kim. Thank you so much, Adriana. Really, your presence here at Rise to Greater Heights Network, we really don't take it for granted. I know we are all busy people, but for you to spare that 90 minutes to be with us here at Rise to Greater Heights Network, we really don't take it for granted. So we're saying thank you. We're so humbled. We're so honored that you've shared your wisdom, you've shared your knowledge with us. And I'll go back and watch the replay over and over again until I don't think I will get tired. So thank you so much, amazing speakers. And to our audience online, thank you so much for joining us here at Rise to Greater Heights Network, where you can turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. I hope from all these amazing messages, from all these amazing speakers, you've been inspired, you've been motivated, and you are ready to rise to greater heights. So do join us next week at the same time, same place. Thank you. Merci. Siyabonga.
Let them laugh, let them weep, let them yell, let them tell all they wanna say. Let them lay me traps and men to pray to Jehovah, me I pray. Let them laugh, let them weep, let them yell, let them tell all they wanna say. Let them lay me traps and men to pray to Jehovah, me I pray. Let I be me instead of playing games. For chasing fame, let somebody set the lack of flames. No, living my life to the fullest and shout out my halala to the fullest. Let my lungs out. I'm still rising up to greater heights as long as